I literally had my real estate license. So I was going to night school and I was listening to all my professors.
Big push, consciously or unconsciously, I would say more consciously, to separate people from the elders.
Of course.
Because it destabilizes a family union and it also destroys a culture.
You go over to France and other countries in Europe and they're like, it's 2:00, I'm done work. It's time for me to go get my baguette and
A glass of wine and cheese.
wine and a cigarette and like they're healthy. Like the one thing we noticed, absolutely healthier than
That's a
Americans
different kind.
walking around
They
the
also
street.
have.
Welcome to your
True Alchemy,
True Alchemy.
where ancient wisdom meets modern mastery that you can apply to your business, your life, your health, your wealth,
Relationships.
and relationships.
So for those of you that are entrepreneurs, corporate professionals, coaches, doctors, practitioners, we love the game of personal performance, mental and emotional performance. That's why we call our coaching team, our coaching business, high performance coaching. So what we want to do is bring some of these ancient wisdom practices that we're kind of full cycle coming back around to,
Yeah,
which is pretty powerful stuff.
it is. Because when you understand the cycles and rhythms of how things transform on the cosmic stage, meaning understanding that right now we're going through a cycle. And the fact that there's tons of chaos on the planet right now was predicted by the ancient people all around the world and is actually for our highest and greatest gift. So we can transform as humanity and to be in a much more balanced relationship with the earth as well as our brothers and sisters and move from a paradigm of judgment into seeing each other as one. So all of what's happening on this grand stage is actually helping us grow and evolve. And when you understand that in your relationships, when you understand that in your personal growth, your spiritual growth, as well as your business, it gives you so much more power. And so you're not a victim of circumstance.
How did you find this work?
Well,
How
I
did you
was
fall into it.
a victim, at least I thought so, of circumstance.
Acting like a victim.
Big time. I was
What
really
are
good
you
at it.
acting depressed about?
I acted depressed and as a victim for many, many years. And talking about cosmic cycles, I mean, I look back to when I was, 15, 16, 17, I was experiencing, as we all do, a rite of passage. It's your Saturn opposition. And it's a time where some of your unconscious debris is triggered for you to then set forth on the path for another 15 years to then find your Saturn return in 27 through 30 years old. And right around that time, I was hanging out with the wrong crowd. I was using drugs and alcohol, abusing them in a lot of ways. And I put myself in a situation where I woke up and I knew that I had been violated by two guys. And that really set me on a path of self-destruction that I was already on, but that was the tipping point that set me over the edge. And I started stripping. I hustled my first guy around 16 years old and then, moved away from home, moved out to California, had these big dreams of, being a star and being on stage, but I ended up on the other stage, which was the pole stage, the dancing stage.
The stripping stage.
Yeah, which there's nothing wrong with that. And there was a lot of beauty of it. I really did enjoy the power. I did love the dancing, the movement. At the time, I didn't really realize what I was doing, but I was actually doing sex magic when I was doing sex work. But it was all twisted up in a very unhealthy pattern that I believed that I was unworthy. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't good enough. I was never going to amount to anything. And at the core, I believed that I was so disgusting and so terrible and so broken that I deserved to be punished. And so I created a complete scenario with my entire life, whether it be in abusive relationships. The way that I would leave relationships is them usually getting locked up and put in jail because they're drug dealers and or physically abusive. I would have this crazy pattern that I couldn't get away from. But now I see that it was this core program that was running underneath the hood that was projecting things into my reality and having me show up in certain ways and choosing my life that way. And if you had told me back then that I was at choice for everything, I would have told you to go fly a kite, until I realized that I was. And then I found this work in 2011. I did my first personal growth and development training, and I fell into it. I didn't even know at the time what personal growth was. It was completely over my head. And at the time, the drugs that I was using Xanax, Adderall, Oxycontins, Loratabs, smoking meth, and drinking about a fifth a day just to maintain and to manage the pain of what it felt like to be in my body.
I feel like that's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot for most people. It's truly a miracle that you're still here.
Yeah.
And can hear me here.
Yeah. And there was a very long time that I didn't want to be here. And I did a lot of things to not have me here. And I know now that, my future self and my higher self and my soul was guiding me on that path to find this work. And I fell into this work accidentally, you would say, but it was intentionally, because my soul was like, yes, you're doing it. And when I took my first training, it allowed me to heal the trauma, the deep wounds that were causing me to behave in this manic, crazy way. The traumas that were causing me to, be out of control with drugs and alcohol, that were causing me on a daily basis to berate myself and to pick myself apart. I had body dysmorphia as well as eating disorder, all these different things. It allowed me to become aware of all of this and to realize that all of this was actually a gift. I had been going through a cycle of a spiritual boot camp in order for me now to be here today, to be sharing this wisdom and show everybody that it's okay. Everybody, we all had skeletons in our closet, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. No matter what you've done in the past, you are worthy, you are good enough, and you have the power to change your life like that. And I'm here to share that with vulnerability and honesty.
I think your story is a true testament of that. There's so many other people, not to take away from your story, but there's other people that have stories similar or even worse than.
Right.
And they're too afraid to talk about it. Or they're still running in this habitual program, this software we talk about, right? The one you just mentioned. It's a completely unconscious system. It's out of our awareness. People don't know how to get out of it. That's why we created freedom from the loop.
Right.
It's like they're looping and they think they're getting somewhere, and like the loop, they go, oh, I'm getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. And then it's like, I'm back in a loop.
Self-sabotage. And I did that for
so
years.
Many loops, right?
Yeah. And we don't have to be in that loop. I mean, the first step is awareness. And interestingly enough, the more that you loop, the more you hardwired into the nervous system. And on the flip side of that, the more that you loop, you theoretically learn. And so if you are looping right now, that's okay. You're not failing. We're going to talk about this in the webinar, is that you're actually learning from it, and you're about to break that chain and be able to create a new life the way that you want it. And then eventually, once you've gotten that success, you have that wisdom, you've moved through it yourself. This is one of the reasons why I believe our souls come down into this avatar body, is first to learn and grow through mistakes and failure. The second is to then share it with others to help other people that are looping. Because look, right now, there's a lot of people out there looping in their unconscious patterns that are not getting them the result that they want and what they're meant to be doing in this lifetime.
And there's a system that has been created to make a lot of money off people and their loops. Like, some people may hear that and be like, well, I'm not, addicted to drugs and alcohol and all this stuff. But the thing is like, everybody's addicted to something.
So something.
We all have an addiction. Like, we can peel back these layers, and it's learning from the addictions, right? If we get perpetually angry and we're full of rage and hatred and
or judgment
and whatever, like, that is an addiction. Neurons that fire together, wire together. And like, so the more we do it, the more, like you said, it's just hardwired in there. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get addiction here. I'm going to get angry again. I'm going to get frustrated, which is my go-to. And a lot of guys get frustrated at this stuff. Right. And so, or you may be addicted to depression and sadness and prolonged hurt and guilt and shame. So like, we're all addicted to something. It's understanding how consciously aware are we of our addictions, of our loops, so that we can break the loop, break the pattern, interrupt it, and go do something else. Go do something better, more constructive, more empowering.
What was your loop? Growing up, teenage years, and then the 20s, and then 30s, and now.
Probably the first loop that I look back at was the chip on the shoulder from getting held back in the second grade with my twin sister.
Mm-hmm. And how
So,
did that manifest?
We got held back. Not really still sure why, other than immaturity. And so I kind of went this one way. Serena went her way. And it was basically like, I've had the chip on my shoulder, like, to hell with them. I'll be damned if I let anyone tell me how successful, or what grade I should be in. It almost installed this, we call it mismatching part. Like, it was a mismatcher for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to prove people wrong. And so when I saw everybody with the guys that I was in school with playing sports, athletics, they went to the third grade. Then all I wanted to do was beat them because now I was still in the second grade.
Right.
So that
Creating
caused
drive.
Yeah, it was incredible away from motivation, you could say.
What do you mean by away from motivation?
Focusing on what I didn't want and wanting to beat them so bad that at some point that can turn into sabotaging, destructive behavior as well.
Right.
Where instead of focusing on the things that I wanted to, which was like, being friends with them, it almost like I became more of an enemy against them so much that all I wanted to do is beat them in sports. And I did. I created a lot of success with that, but that also like disrupted my real estate career in that I thought everybody was an enemy. And then I was just like this asshole.
And then creating
for
chaos.
a period of time. Yeah, and created internal chaos too. And my own, sabotaging behavior, like right after 21, drinking and partying and just never figuring it out, never really getting that part of me under control. So, luckily I had a grandfather, beautiful grandfather, Pop, my mom's dad, who mentored my brother and I. Started with my older brother, Aaron. And then he got us 30 minutes a day listening to audios and cassettes, Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, Tom Hopkins, like, reading and clipping out articles of Investor Business Daily and just really focusing on building wealth, making money, your mindset, personal growth and development, personal growth. Like, that's the thing that he did. He motivated us, by saying, hey, if you guys give me 30 minutes a day, listen to these books or listen to these cassettes, read these books, I'm going to give you X, Y, Z. Like, my brother got a JVC boombox. I got, I think, a mountain bike the first go around. And so it's just like, it taught us toward motivation, meaning to be motivated toward the things that you want. And so many people right now are not motivated toward the things they want. They're motivated against the things they don't want.
Right.
Right. So it's like, I gotta get a better job. I don't want to be in debt. I hate this dis-ease, this illness that I have, right? Cancel clear.
Which also creates a loop.
Which can create a loop of itself.
It's like the hamster wheel of hell, because you keep focusing on what you do not want. You keep getting that, and you magically attract it over and over again, and you don't understand why.
Like, Jim Rohn was such a great mentor, listening to his audios. And when I was 18, graduated from high school, Pop got, my brother and I both went to, Anaheim to his main event where we got to meet him and all that great stuff. And just consistently realizing working harder on myself than we do our job or our business is the way to go. And Pop always said, he said, whether you choose to go to college or not, college alone will not be enough for you to be successful and have all the skills and tools you need to succeed in life. And I realized that whether he was installing that or not, I got out of high school and I was like, I want nothing to do with college. Like, that was my thing, is I realized that if I can work and have that discipline in myself to work hard and personally grow and develop, I don't need college. I really don't. I went to city college for like a year, barely, because I'd already had my real estate license by the time I turned 18, like maybe 18 and a half. I literally had my real estate license. So I was going to night school and I was listening to all my professors, and I realized, like, why am I here doing this? Like, we had some great questions. It helped me through transactions. And I had great mentors in real estate along the way. But then I realized, like, I could literally go all into my real estate career and I could be making far more than, unfortunately, what my college professors were making in city college, even though it was cool to have these guys leave their careers, retire from their businesses, and then come back and teach and teach young people. I think it's great. I just didn't see that being a fit for me. And my brother's same thing is, like, I think because of that that training we got early on. I mean, we're 12, 13, 14 years old. Like, and that's the other thing. My dad lost his job at 11. And so I saw money and no money. And I was like, well, if that's what corporate America does, and having this job and this tight structure and the illusion of safety, comfort, security. And when I saw that happen to my dad of 35 years, I was like, I want nothing to do with this system.
Right.
And so that was a big piece too, of like getting held back in the second grade, seeing dad get fired and laid off, pushed into early retirement at 11 years old. And that's really when I realized Pop-Up started the mentoring, was to keep Bro and I and my sister busy. You know, he did his best to absolutely mentor us through those tough times.
Right.
When money was tight with mom and dad. And so, you know, that was a huge, such a shift in my life. That belief system really stuck with me. And like, if there's anything that young people need, is grandparents in their life. That's something that I also see as a major, you know, discombobulation right now, is where we have so many parents fighting with their parents, that young people don't get mentoring from the grandparents and the great grandparents, because that's mentoring you don't get from your father and your mother.
You have a lot of wisdom when you've been on this planet for a long time.
Those are our elders.
Right.
Like, that's why we're with Elder Miguel, because Miguel has an amazing experience of life, and he's teaching us the things that his elders taught him. So we're talking not just like 1 or 2 generations, we're talking 3, 4, 5 generations of wisdom, knowledge, and experience. And like, to me, that's irreplaceable. There's no way school can teach you what elders know.
Right.
There's just no way.
Well, in our culture, there's been a big push, consciously or unconsciously, I would say more consciously, to separate people from the elders.
Of course.
Because it destabilizes a family union, and it also destroys a culture. Because when you don't have that lineage passed down to the children, then we forget who we are and where we came from.
Yep.
And so we've seen this in our culture, and I'm even a product of it, because family for me originally wasn't really important. I don't know if that was unconscious values that I just took from the situation, from, you know, how my parents raised us, but it wasn't this like strong family core value system that was introduced into us. We have values, but being together, having that wisdom together wasn't something from my perspective that was talked about or even pushed. And, you know, it really, for me, even took my brother's death. He passed away in 2020, and the end of 2020 going into 21. And
21 going into 22.
21. Oh, yeah. 21 going into 22. And that was a wake-up call for me, because it made me realize how much I miss my family and how much I don't talk to my mom and dad, and how unclose we had gotten, and how much
very independent.
Yeah, very independent family. And so it's something that I think a lot of us has experienced in the last couple of years, losing people in our life. And we are now coming back together as a family. But then also you see a lot of people that are having their families tore apart because of different ideologies too at the same time. So again, I believe all of this is for the highest and best, and we're going to learn from it, and we're going to actually change the relationship we have to family here in America, which is definitely something that we need.
That's something that Aaron and Pop-Up actually filmed. They actually did audio kind of like this back in the day. This was like 97, 98, 96, somewhere in there. They did, I think it was Smart Grandparenting. Bro had all these little CD-ROMs made
so cool.
of grandfather coaching grandson. Right. And mentorship, and how important that was. And honestly, I mean, it shows, like, for him and I being in business at such a young age, being entrepreneurs, being now performance coaches, both, you know, coaching people through mental and emotional blocks, hypnosis, NLP, like, it drastically shows that we had mentoring at our age and versus when we meet others that are still pretty lost at the same age.
Yeah.
Right. Not to make it a thing of comparison or better than, but it's like, it's something that I can see that society is desperately needing. We're needing our elders to put back some information into our young minds.
Some ancient wisdom.
With some modern mastery to really excel. And it's like, if I can avoid the pitfalls and learnings from someone who's already done it and save hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars of heartache, stress, true just making dumb decisions and making mistakes, if I can save that money, it's worth getting mentorship, and if somebody's like listening to this and you're probably thinking, well, I don't have a grandfather or grandparents, they're all passed away or whatever, it's like, you can still look for elders.
Yeah. And find your tribe.
You can still look for older folks that have great wisdom in a career or some kind of industry that you're looking to get into, and sit down and interview them. And now more than ever is exactly what we're doing, is recording us, doing podcasts, talking about our story and experience, how we built a successful business, how we've created an incredible relationship.
And all the failures and the learnings along the way.
All the stuff in between.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so that's, getting into real estate at 18 years old. What's funny is I literally, for 5 years, got away from what I knew to be true, which is personal growth and development. I didn't work on myself. I was grinding it out harder, better, faster, working harder, longer, making more calls, and the shit wasn't working.
Yeah, because you weren't doing personal growth.
And it was like, and then when I hired a real estate coach, Rhonda, and she's like, Brandon, you need to go take these NLP trainings. And I thought she was just going to open up this flat fee business in a box. She did, and so much more. She opened up my mind, all the things I wasn't listening to, super stubborn to. Oh, yeah, I've done Jim Rohn. It was like, I remember thinking to myself, I haven't read a book in 4 years.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I remember thinking to myself, yeah, I've done Jim Rohn. Yeah, I've done this, I've done that. And that's like, this is this defense mechanism that so many of us get into.
Oh, yeah, I've done the work.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing that. No, I've done so much.
As if there's ever an end to that.
As if there's like a competition to.
We laugh about it because that's why you're here, is to do the great work, which means presupposes that you're not done until you transition.
I remember Rhonda was like, Brandon, your business is actually doing okay. You're the problem in your business. And that's when I was like, damn, she's right. And that was when I realized I hadn't been doing my reading. I hadn't worked on myself. I hadn't been to a seminar or a training in years, which I used to go to them all the time. And then she's like, Brandon, go take these trainings, go take these NLP trainings. And that's when I realized I know NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Like my grandfather and I talked about this stuff, like not in depth, trained, certified like we are now, helping others. And that was that story. My loop was, oh yeah, I got this. And it was the confident loop, but then realizing I wasn't doing the work.
Yeah.
That was the truth of why my real estate business like took off and then hit the glass ceiling. And then it just felt like every time I hired somebody, it was a pitfall. Making more money and then looking at the end of the year and be like, where's all the money?
And that's the loop.
That's the loop.
Right? Where you hit the glass ceiling is a loop. Right? Because you are only growing as much as you are internally growing. The business will only grow as much as you internally grow. And you say, well, what about all these rich people that have super successful business? Okay, so there's some people that come here on this planet and they're actually, one of the things that they're really good at is making a lot of money and, building a very successful business. However, their work is to look at relationships, to look at their spirituality, do personal growth and development. And so they may have lots of materialistic things and notoriety and acknowledgments, but a lot of times deep down inside, they're a chaotic mess. And then for people that struggle with the money and then they're great at personal growth and spiritual work, then they need to learn how to create money and wealth in balance.
Meditate for 10 hours a day, do all the breath work. That's great.
And if you really want to do it well, from my perspective, this is my perspective, do the work, do something that your soul is meant to be doing this lifetime. From my perspective, is your soul's purpose. Do that, figure out how to do that inside the relationship of your career. Also do personal growth and spiritual development when you're doing that. And then you're going to skyrocket your success and you're going to also feel 100% happy and fulfilled and you're going to have balance. Because you'll love what you do. I was talking to you the other day and saying how much I freaking love our life. I love the work we do. I love the clients we work with. I get excited when we have new, clients coming in. I love the retreats that we facilitate. I love every moment of it. I love where we live. I love the things that we have in our life, our friends. I'm grateful for everything. And we've designed our life based upon what is our true purpose, what we're meant to be doing. As of right now, right? That can change.
Super grateful.
Right.
I love you.
I love you too. And I love
And
us in relationships too.
it wasn't always like,
No.
it wasn't always that way.
We also were in the past building a business that wasn't right for us. And I know the difference between that feeling when we're in total flow and alignment on our soul's journey and purpose and when we're not.
So this July 5th, 6th, we're going to be 12 years, 13,
2013. So whenever that was.
12 years.
We moved in within a month.
Yeah. And we've been building a lifestyle and a life ever since.
We met in personal growth.
And we started doing trainings. We met in an NLP training. And I think people also look at like wealthy people and they go, oh yeah, well, it's easy when you have money, but it like, we didn't have any money when we started. Like,
No.
And there's so many people we know that they see like the peak of success or they see you on the rise. And this is what people have said in the past, like coaches, other people that want to get on stages and do trainings and so forth together. You know, it's like, well, yeah, but I can't rent this hotel room out because, you know, I'm just starting out. It's like, well, we didn't either when we started out. We started doing trainings like with real estate professionals and people in the real estate industry in my real estate office as I'm transitioning out of real estate, getting into coaching and training. So it's like, it can be done and everybody, you don't have to be great to start. You have to start to be great. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Like, and you're going to F it up. You're going to make tons of mistakes. You're going to learn from it. The best thing is to get into messy action and build the plan as you go. And you will find out a lot about yourself. You'll learn a lot.
And if you're taking action and you're still spinning your wheels, you're not sure, then take even more inspired action.
There's a difference between busy work action versus inspired, intentional, fully aligned, hell body yes action. And that's another loop, right? Because people will take action to not feel, right? There's some people on this planet, a lot of high performers that we work with, they can't even sit still, right? Because being in their body and sitting without moving or creating is painful. So figuring out what that edge is.
It's dissociation is easier, right? Just back to numbing, coping.
Yeah, it's just another version.
Drinking, smoking, drugs, addiction, food, anything to numb that pain so people can't even sit in their own body.
And by the way, we do live under the model of a world that you work really, really hard in something that you love and do well, and you also play hard. And for some of us, it may be dressing up and going to Burning Man and having a lot of fun and letting our hair down.
Guilty.
And it also presupposes that you have an imbalance and you're doing biohacking and you're taking care of your health and your vitality, and you're not doing it from a place of numbing. Because that's where it can get messy, right?
Well, and we have such a focus now on our health, sleep, diet. Food is sacred fuel.
It is medicine.
It's medicine, and people have gotten away from that, right? We are an unhealthy country. We just got back from Paris, France. How can I crush pastries, patisserie? I
ate more bread in a month than I have in the last 15 years.
I think I ate more bread in a week than I did.
He did in like a day.
3 years. Like seriously, it was so freaking good.
It was crazy.
It was amazing. Like, and that's like right there. That's how you know we have an issue with our food system
right
here. And I come from a background of farmers, right? Agriculture, which is a whole other thing with the chemicals we're putting in our food and our soil and depleting all the nutrients. And we'll get into those conversations later.
Because we have experts in the field of health and vitality that are going to be coming on.
We've been bringing that into our trainings and retreats more than ever because we see, wow, not only are people mentally and emotionally stressed out, you go over to France and other countries in Europe, and they're like, it's 2:00, I'm done work. It's time for me to go get my baguette and
a glass of wine and cheese.
A glass of wine and a cigarette. And like they're healthy. Like the one thing we noticed, absolutely healthier than
that's a
Americans
different kind.
Walking around
they
the
also
street.
Have community and they have connection with their elders and they also exercise and they have clean food.
They're less stressed,
right?
And that's a huge.
And there's something that we can integrate in our lifestyle here in America. We can also do that as well. We can change it, and we're going to be talking a lot about that. Of like, what can we do to make the change, and having that holistic life. Doing the biohacking, also eating super healthy, but then also letting your hair down and have a lot of fun. Right. And have everything in moderation and to experience everything and not getting so freaking uptight and rigid either. Because if you start becoming rigid, like we know a lot of biohackers, there's almost crazy rigid around their sleep. And if your rigidity
there's a red flag
creating, if it's creating stress, that's just as bad as not a good night to sleep or a glass of wine, perhaps.
Rigidity which is exactly where we are in society right now. We're getting so rigid to this polar
chaotic
opposite of left and right. When you are so rigid, that's when you know you're out of balance. And Miguel would say balance, like get back into balance. If your rigidity is there, that's a red flag that you're not in control of something. in your life. You're not in control, or the illusion that you're not in control of being able to change something so you're more flexible. Right? Not so flexible you have no boundaries.
And discipline. You want discipline.
You got to have some spiritual discipline, and that's something that we all know, I think in America, we work hard. Like, this is a very overworked country. And at the same time, we got to find balance. Like, there's nothing wrong with when you work hard, absolutely love to play hard. Go all out. Like, there should be no shame or guilt about that. And if that is, there's your rigidity. Like, let's clear that out, because that's not helping you fill up your cup and renew.
It creates another loop. Because then there's a shame spiral when you can't be successful in it, because nobody is 100% successful all the time, unless they are, but then they're not living life either. Like, if you are 100% always dialed in, you're missing out on half the fun of being messy and playful and spontaneity.
And usually when we coach a high performer that's 100% dialed in, the thing we get, the tasking for that
is
person
to get messy.
Is like, we want you to be not dialed in for the next 30 days. And they're like, I don't know what to do. What do you mean? You want me to lay on the beach?
Yeah. Exactly. Try it out.
So that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about all of it, all of the above. And how do we, like I said before, in this life cycle that we're going into, I mean, we've been going through it, right? We've been moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. What does this mean? And what is this, astrology gobbledygog? Well, the age of Pisces has been the last 2,100 years and change. And we are now moving into the phase of Aquarius. Pisces was very much the time of sacrifice. It's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of fear, shame, and guilt along with that construct. There's a lot of good as well. And we are moving out of only patriarchal systems into now a balance between masculine and feminine. And we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which the truths that have been held from us, our ancient wisdom that has been snuffed out, the divine feminine that has been snuffed out for thousands of years. We're going to realize who we are and why we're here on this planet, probably in our lifetime. And all the lies are going to come out, which you may be seeing this in the news, that things that normally wouldn't be put out there, and I'm not talking about regular news, I'm talking about this other news, they're talking about it.
That's why people are turning to podcasts.
Yeah, because the truth is coming out. And you can't keep that thumb on it any longer.
It's real people having real conversations without political agendas, without propaganda, without paid for advertising.
Right.
And like, you can build an incredible life despite all the chaos going on. And like, we literally have kind of a blueprint and a template to help people with that. We 4X'd our business during COVID. We 4X'd our business during 2020 because we didn't buy into this rhetoric, and we were actually less on
all the fear porn.
So much fear porn.
Doomsday.
We were less on social media in 2020, and like, we literally just kind of like tuned that out.
Right.
And it was amazing how there was like this fuzzy background noise, and it was like, yeah, I don't buy into that.
And it's important to be aware, and it's important to know that there is corruption. It's important to actually make the change, right?
We already know there's corruption.
We're all about making, taking radical self-ownership for a role in it, and becoming in right relationship with the planet as well as our relationships, and, all coming together and making a difference in the world. And for some of us, maybe our path is to talk about the corruption, and to focus on it every day is also going to continue that loop of creating more of it. And so that's where the shift is. Consciousness is that the truth is going to come out. People are going to wake up, and we're going to choose, are we going to have a beautiful society, which I believe that we are. I believe that everything is going to integrate. We're going to have divine masculine, feminine. And I also believe we're going to become in right relationship with technology. I think that's part of the age of Aquarius. Yeah. And from a really esoteric perspective, I believe, this is my personal belief systems, because I believe that, 50% of the population believes in past lives. And there's a lot of people on this planet Earth, including all the ancient civilizations, that believe that we had a flood about 12,000 years ago. And now science proves that there was a time period called the Younger Dryas where there was cataclysms on this planet for about 1,000 years. And there is evidence that there was a great civilization before that. And a lot of people that study this, they believe that there was not only a cataclysm, but there was also caused civilization to fail. And part of that was technology.
An implosion on itself.
And so I believe that all of us here signed up for this game to make the right decision this time, to wake up and to be the best versions of ourselves, and to have a good relationship with technology. And that's where we're going.
And really, and speaking up now, because the reason why there's
Truth.
been, and it's not like, oh God, there's just now corruption. No, there has been
That's been
corruption
since the beginning of time.
for fucking thousands of years.
That was the game that we used to play.
Like, don't say like, if anyone's like, oh, the corruption just started. No, the corruption has been around for literally thousands and thousands and thousands of years. We're just now noticing it.
Hundreds of thousands of years.
They're just waking up, which is cool. Better now than never. And it's like, what vibration do you want to, what frequency do you want to vibrate at? Because if you're consuming such fear porn on social media, like I got on X, between the end of the beginning of the elections, like mid 2024 to now. And over the last, 60 to 75 days, I've been completely almost off of social media.
How good do you feel?
I feel so much better. It's funny. Joe Rogan was talking about it.
I told you too.
There's my brother calling. And someone else was like, I've been off social media for like 2 weeks. I got to tell you, like my nervous system is so much cleaner, so much down-regulated, relaxed. And like, we are all amping ourselves up. And that's like something that you have to really ask yourself, what frequency are you vibrating at?
What are you allowing yourself to watch?
Because here's the thing we're going to talk about is like the frequency you vibrate at, you will attract and manifest
real time
what you're vibrating at faster.
So for the last, this is what I've heard. For the last 12,000 years, we've had training wheels on. In terms of length of time it takes for us to manifest everything that we want, but also do not want, whatever we focus and vibrate at, essentially.
Happens.
The training wheels are coming off. And so this now more than ever is time to learn how to master your mind and calm it down, focus on what you want, but not only focus, feel it in your heart.
Master your body too.
Yeah, having and not mastering it from like I'm a power over the body. In relationship with the body of this dance between the masculine and feminine part of us, that beautiful trinity. Miguel says we are moving in the time, he's a Mayan wisdom holder. We're moving in the time of where the mind now is going to be integrated with the heart, and then it will come out through the throat, which speakability and manifestation. And we will be able to manifest everything like magic real time. And we can also manifest the things we do not want. So now's the time to learn how to break free from the loop, how to stop the pattern for good, heal those internal wounds, figure out why you're here, to set that path in motion of your true purpose and your soul's essence of why you designed this life for yourself, and then fully actualize it and learn how to utilize this avatar body that was such a gift. And it is a temple of the divine. We're spirits having a spiritual experience in this physical manifestation, and then go out and serve with that. It is now time for that. And I'm calling all of you, because all of you that are listening to this podcast are leaders. Whether it be leading yourself, leading people around you, your family, leading in the organization, the business that you run, or perhaps even facilitating transformational spaces. You are all leaders, and people are looking up to you for wisdom, and you have it inside of you. And all of that thing that you went through in the past was the greatest gift. It was your mess for your message to then serve others.
And I love that, because I feel like society has been in this people-pleasing pattern for many, many years, and we're activating our throat chakras.
Yeah, we're saying no.
And the more we activate it, we've got to speak up. We got to speak out. We also speak with confidence and intelligence, because some people can speak and they say nothing. They open their mouth and nothing comes out.
They haven't been properly linguistically trained.
We need to be conscious of how we speak too. We're big into conscious language, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, linguistics, language, right? I always like neural resonance. Language is sound, it's vibration, it's frequency. Like that's something that we are all as a planet going to have to figure out at some point. If you want to ascend or descend, the choice is yours.
And descending is a long story. We can talk about that. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Depending on the context, depending on the topic, right? And because everybody's ascension and descension is different, right? And conscious language, what's gotten us here, from my perspective, with the media and how they just spew propaganda, if you can't pick apart what they say and filter it through your critical thinking lens, then you need to learn language, because it is so obvious what happened during 2020.
And perhaps that's the next episode that we're going to do, is conscious language.
You got it.
Because I believe that, and this could be many different episodes because we could spend a year on conscious language alone, and to being able to pick apart what is being used on you, and not to put yourself in a victim space, but it is being used on you, the power of the spoken word to then manipulate and install and essentially brainwash. And the cool thing is that when you understand it, you can never be brainwashed. You can never be hypnotized in the way that you don't want to be.
You won't blindly join a cult. That's all good stuff.
Yeah, and you can also use language for transformation, empowerment, and to free yourself from any baggage that you have from the past.
So come along this journey with us around ancient esoteric wisdom and knowledge that we go and gather from Egypt, the Maya land, Peru,
Hawaii,
Turkey.
Yes. Also the Druid land, and so many other places as well.
So many other ancient
Native
cultures.
American.
And we have so much to learn from these cultures that we can apply these stories and metaphors and true experiences into everyday life to better our health, relationships, our businesses.
And relationships.
I said relationships.
Health and wealth and vitality.
Vitality. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Super excited to keep this rolling.
Yes. Until next time.
Hey, thanks for listening. Deb and Brandon Yager.
With a Your True Alchemy show.
Ancient wisdom meets modern mastery. See ya.